And amidst the intensifying Russian attacks in Ukraine, the American President Donald Trump, in a post on Truth Social, has said that he has written a letter to NATO nations urging them to stop purchasing Russian oil in an effort to end the war in Ukraine. Now, President Trump has said, and I quote, "I'm ready to do more sanctions on Russia when all NATO nations have agreed and have started to do the same thing, and when all NATO nations stop buying oil from Russia." Now, Trump has also called on the NATO nations to place anywhere from 50 to 100% tariffs on China to help end the Ukraine war. Now, Trump wrote in a post that these tariffs would be withdrawn once the war ends. Now, Trump said in his post that China has a strong control and a grip over Russia, and NATO's tariffs could help in countering Beijing's influence on Moscow. Further, Trump has called the Ukraine war as Biden's and Zelensky's war and has added that he was only trying to mediate peace and save lives. And if NATO does exactly what he did, then the Ukraine war could be brought to an end swiftly. Now, Trump's statement comes on a day when Moscow launched 164 drones and also an Iskander ballistic missile on Ukraine. The Ukrainian Air Force claims that it has downed about 137 drones in the north, south and east of Ukraine, but other Russian drones have escaped Ukrainian air defenses and have struck 9 locations across Ukraine. Now, the attack comes as top officials have gathered in Kiev for the annual Yalta European Strategy Conference. Ukraine has also launched a counter-attack targeting Russian oil and energy facilities. Now, Kiev claims to have struck Russia's largest oil loading terminal in the Baltics. However, Moscow claims that it shot down about 340 Ukrainian drones in the last 24 hours and has struck control points, launch sites and storage sites for long-range drones in Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine are also engaged in pitched battles in the Pokrovsk region, a major logistics and communications hub. And reports claim that at least about 69 soldiers have been captured since early August, while other estimates claim that number could be more than 100. In Kiev, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the Yalta European Strategy Conference, where he insisted that Russia's war in Ukraine will only stop once the Russian war machine runs out of fuel. He also jokingly compared the American envoy, General Keith Kellogg, to an air defense system that protects its citizens.
Комусь може здаватися, що обміни територіями чи спроба спокусити Путіна відновленням торгівлі з Америкою чи світом начебто може зупинити цю війну. Це не так. Російська машина війни зупиниться тільки тоді, коли у неї закінчиться пальне.
All right, now joining us on the broadcast, we've got Dr. Anna Mativa, who is a visiting senior research fellow at the Russia Institute. She's joining us live from London. Dr. Mativa, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on WION. Now, this, of course, is a critical moment in the Russia-Ukraine war, where Donald Trump is now asking the European NATO allies that if they want this war in Ukraine to come to an end, then the European NATO allies must stop purchasing Russian hydrocarbons and must also impose, higher tariffs on China. Do you think this is a demand that would be agreeable to the European nations?
It's interesting that you called it a critical moment, and I think that it's a critical moment in the transatlantic partnership, in the relationship between the United States and European partners, because now Trump has placed ball in their court. Now it is not them urging Trump to act, but it's the other way around. We are now looking at the problem of collective action because both Hungary and Slovakia are buying Russian oil. They have no intention to change it. It is something which fuels their economy. So how other European NATO members are going to pressurize Hungary and Slovakia into doing that, that would be probably quite drawn up and maybe quite ugly saga. Again, European nations are imposing tariffs on China. I think it's pretty delusionary. I'm sure that Trump himself is not believing that this is something which is going to happen. China is a giant, is the world's largest manufacturer. European nations need to trade with that. So in that sense, Trump has presented Europeans with a puzzle. which they would now have to somehow address. And that is not going to be very easy for them.
Right now, do you think this is also a recognition on the part of Donald Trump that despite the talk that he's had with Vladimir Putin and despite all of the agreements that have been struck, probably for Donald Trump to succeed in bringing a war to an end, he needs to dry up the financial resources of Russia. And he can't do that until the Europeans keep trading with the Russians. And therefore, this is a war that can be brought to an end only when Europe breaks off completely economically with Russia.
Europe and Russia has very, very small economic relationship now. Russian main economic partners are elsewhere. So the call of kind of undermining Russian economy is a delusion. Trump, I think, probably understands it, but he wants to retain the power of initiative. Mm-hmm. He does not want just to leave the process to go as it was. He wants to say that I'm actually a player there. I'm trying to move and shake this, both Zelensky and Putin, and he expressed frustrations with both of them at different times, that he needs to kind of up the ante in some way. It is his tactic. He doesn't really want to impose tariffs, but he wants to feel that he has some levers to play just to move it further when it's now started to become a little bit stalled.
I think you've summed it up really well there. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Anna Mativa, for joining us with that perspective there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.